Welcome, everybody. My name is Michael Camo. I'm Director of Content for T3 Live, and I'm here with my good friend Adam Mesh, who's an expert options trader, and he's going to explain to me what is going on in this market. And then we're going to get into interesting topic, losing money, losing big money. It's something everybody wants to talk about, making $100,000 today and $10 million this year, but every trader takes some hits at some point or another. So we are going to get into that. So interesting. So Adam, when we were getting ready before, you asked me what I thought could happen into the market. Now we are 52 minutes away from the Fed hitting. Do you have any expectations for what could happen?
So I look at the Fed as the gun going off in a race. A lot of times, especially over the last decade, you would have kind of a dull market, and then the Fed would be an excuse for it to make an extreme move in one direction or another. We haven't had a dull market right now, so in that sense, there's other factors such as tariffs. Like, what would move the market more right now? Something the Fed says, or tariffs being rolled back? Tariffs being rolled back. So the Fed is no longer the primary driver of the market. It's not what's causing the volatility, but it could be a trigger again for a more extreme move. Now, which way do we go? I mean, the bias has been to the downside lately, but market seems to have found its footing a little bit over here. I'm trying not to have a direction in my head. Before the call, you and I really quickly, I asked you said you thought we were going to rip higher. I would guess lower, but I don't want to be positioned to be leaning in one direction or the other. Like, it's like a goalkeeper. I don't want to dive too early. Like in the shootout, ball's coming, I don't want to dive too early. I want to be ready to react to whichever way we go. But what they're worried about, they're not concerned about what they're going to do this time. They're concerned about what the dot plot's going to be. But really, it's just going to be a trigger for either a move, or we could have a little back and forth like yesterday. The action yesterday, the best thing you could have done at 12 o'clock was collect premium on both sides of strikes. Like the Russell, the 203, it never got more than 40 cents away from it on either side. It was done. So I am a little bit concerned that we have that today, where we whip, and at the end of the day we go nowhere. Because why is there a danger in that? The danger in that is, as active traders, I think that's most of my audience. If you try to catch a move and it just keeps whipping back, you're going to be buying and getting pulled back, and then you'll go the other way because it looks weak and you'll get pulled back. At the end of the day, you're just going to be too late on everything. So the only way we're going to really be able to benefit into today's announcement is if there's an extreme move. I don't know if there will be, but I hope there is.
Okay, so you said you don't want to have a direction in your head, but what do you actually have in your account? Like, where is your money right now? At least your active money.
So I'm never short. I'll buy puts on the market, but I'm never short stocks. Although I did come in with puts on HIMS, and I sold some in the morning, but I should have sold it all. I hate that company. No, I have my positions on. I'm light and ready to react. So I don't really I'm never going to be short. It's more about the indexes right now. Like stock-wise, I think it's too hard to predict which stocks will lead the charge right now.
It's funny. For a second, I thought you said I'm white and ready to react. Okay, so do you think there's a chance this could just be like a rubber band where we fall hard, come right back, or rally hard and fall right back down again?
I do think there could be a whiplash move. Yeah, I think you could see a big, like right now the Qs are at 478. You could have the Fed announcement and the Qs could drop to 473 and then come back to 480, or the other way around. They're pricing in a $3.73 move for the rest of the day on the Qs.
It seems low, but I do feel like recent earnings reports, economic reports, it seems like we don't really get those big moves anymore. So So interesting. So it definitely seems like you don't want to make big bets into an event like this. Has there ever been a situation where basically you put your hand on the stove and got burned bad, like speculating on an event?
Oh yeah. Are we getting into the big losses thing that you want to talk about now?
We can go. I mean, it seems like, I mean, if I think like you summed up your views on the market well. So I think it's a natural segue because I can guarantee you there are people in the audience that right now they're loading up on out of the money calls, out of the money on puts on God knows what, because everybody wants to punch that big ticket.
Okay, so wait, so sorry, do you want this Fed announcement related or just in general?
I mean, you can keep it focused on the Fed.
Okay. Yeah, I've definitely been whipped around on the Fed, but I've gotten much better at trading it. But I mean, there was one last year that was like I did really well. There was some wild swings, So I don't start getting aggressive until I'm up money. I'm not like I'll start easing in with some stuff, you know what I mean? And then if I feel like I'm in rhythm with whatever the market's doing, then I'll keep pushing. But if all of a sudden I get burned a couple times, I'll just stop and watch for a little bit and let it settle. And realize,
Okay. Okay. So for events like this, you're mostly trading after the event?
Yeah. Never before.
Okay. Why?
Because then it's a coin toss.
Okay. Why? All right. Why? The reason I'm asking you this question is because people in the audience love coin tosses.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't feel like I have control then, And there's too much money to be made. Like we just said, like we think it's going to whip around, like you're going to have a chance afterwards. It's not like they're going to say something and if you were loaded, like if you're not loaded, you missed the move. Like maybe you'll miss a little bit, but like let's say you were listening for something like a fundamental trader and you're like, if I hear this, I'm buying. Like you'll still have time to buy. It's going to jump around, but you'll have your entries.
Okay, so why do you think so many people have trouble just waiting?
I don't know. I guess because I don't, so it's hard for me to understand that. I guess I don't know.
Because
I guess it's just that's more like it's the same reason someone would bet on a football game.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I'd rather bet on the game with an in-game bet after I've seen them play, and I feel like I like to feel a little bit more control. Like if you put on a big position into the announcement, that's just not true. But like it's a tough level where we're at right now. Like I said, we're down 13%. So like, who wouldn't buy the argument that we could shoot up 1 or 2% on the announcement? Of course we can. We're down 13. We can make a power on move. Of course. Who wouldn't buy the argument that we could go down to our lows, right? Retest them. We haven't had that washout that people would be looking for it to happen. So we're in a little bit no man's land here. We're off our highs by a lot. We're off our lows right now, closer to our lows. But I don't think you can make a big play here. Listen, if you want to be a hero, the big play was to be bearish at our highs. But anyone who tried to do that was getting killed for the last 10 plus years. So then you get bearish right after that first sell-off. You're doing really well, right? Now we already had one move up, power move up. Are we going to chase this? I don't know. Anyone who says they know what's going to happen later today is crazy. And you can't. There's no knowing.
So let's give some disactionable advice for, let's just say, beginner traders.
Okay.
Is it better for them to just take a deep breath, and wait and see, because our friend Mark in the comments is saying the broader market is on the sidelines waiting for the reaction of the Fed. No need to get whipsawed if the announcement surprises in either direction.
See, Mark, I'm asking this not like it's not rhetorical. I'm not like trying to be like I'm so smart and I know and I'm just trying to lead Mark. I'm being serious. Mark, do you think the Fed and what they do is as significant as what Trump is doing with policies and stuff like that? Because for me, it seems like when Biden was in office, he wasn't really creating any kind of policies that were going to influence the market the way Trump has. So the Fed became one of the number one economic indicators in terms of what interest rates were going to do. But we didn't go down because of the Fed. We went down because of tariffs. We went down because of policy. We went down because of trade wars. So that will still be hanging over us after the Fed announcement. Like if these tariffs are real and stay, then everybody's going to have a shrinking economy. You know, the whole idea that nobody wins in a trade war. If it's posturing to settle at a lower place, then we'll end up way better than we were. But I don't think the Fed can say whatever it wants. If the president comes out and says we're doing another tariff, the market's going to go down. Mark said not to me, the market is full of folks who have no idea how the market actually works. 100%. I don't know how the market works.
I was going to say, isn't that what makes it a market? There's a whole bunch of people with differing opinions. Listen, at any given time, when especially, Adam trades options. An option does not exist unless Adam is saying buy and somebody on the other side is saying sell at the same time.
You want to hear what I'm going to do today?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to watch the reaction, and I'm going to be ready. And I think we're going to have one shot up either direction, I don't know which, and then a retracement. And then I'm going to watch, and I'm going to start to see if we gather ourselves. And I'm going to look for an extreme move in either direction and buy cheap out of the money puts that could come to life if we make a run. So you're not getting that good, but after the Fed announcement, some of the premiums should swell out. And so like if we're at the Qs are at 477, and the 484 calls are trading for 23 cents, I might buy 80 of them for $1,600. And if we shoot up to 481 and they're worth 70 cents, I just made $4,000 on $1,600. That might be my trade. I'm not going to buy 40 of the 477s for 250 and risk 10 grand. That could be gone in a second. I'm going to keep my risk under 2 to 3 grand and look to make double, triple on my money. But I will only be trading out of the money options onto the Fed announcement.
Okay, why is it just because you're putting out less cash for them?
So if you're buying an option at the money right now with the premium baked in, you still need, like if you buy the 477 calls for 250, you still need to go to 480, right? But if it doesn't, you're going to lose a chunk of that money quickly if it reverses. So if you're buying the 484s, if it got to 480 pretty quick, those are going to go up too. You're just risking less for the same result. Does that make sense or no?
Yeah.
There's going to be premium swell either way. So why not buy the cheaper options?
No, it makes sense. Do you enjoy days like this? Do you enjoy Fed days? Because I've heard mixed opinions. I've heard people say they don't like these sort of news days. I guess some people like the roller coaster, but do you actually enjoy it?
If I make money.
Makes sense.
Yeah, if I make money. I mean, yeah, it's exciting to know that at 2 o'clock things are going to move really fast for a couple hours. I like that. But that's for active trading. As an investor, like long-term holder, you just want the market to go up.
Yeah, or at least some near-term chaos if people want to put on positions. So I mean, okay, so the tariffs obviously are a huge story, and it looks like it's coming to a head. Like, do you think there will be some kind of favorable outcome? And I would define favorable outcome as Trump gets a few concessions from trading partners and declares victory, and life moves on.
I think strategically, it's really smart what he did, because he did all this at the beginning of his presidency. So it's very easy to turn around and turn the emotions high, and he can control that however he wants. I think it's pretty interesting that, like, the president, like, one man can just come in and change your economic policy like that. Like, there's not like a real, I feel like, I don't know, I can't think of the last time there was a president that was just kind of taking those actions on his own.
It absolutely seems more like a business approach. I mean, it actually there's direct parallels to Elon Musk taking over Twitter. I'm assuming Elon walked in, saw a total shit show from top to bottom, and just said, "Burn it all down because it's failing anyway. So who cares?"
Right.
So I do think like businessmen naturally, if especially somebody like a visionary type, is just going to burn the whole thing down if it's not working. Because like anybody because I think anybody that's been in business knows that that small changes don't mean anything.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess you're going with the tariffs on that, but like, yeah, in terms of Elon Musk and Doge and stuff like that, it's not working. The whole system's corrupt, and there's so much froth, and it's just a waste of money, and that makes a lot of sense. The tariffs, I don't know. Our economy's been pretty good. I'm sure we're getting taken advantage of. I think this is posturing, and we end with a lower tariff, and maybe we narrow the gap a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely, the tariffs, at least there's a huge PR aspect to it. But I mean, but overall, it would be nice to do more stuff stateside, if possible. So our friend David is saying he didn't bother conducting an audit on anything. He's a train wreck. I feel like sometimes the only thing that can clear a train wreck is another train wreck.
Well, the one thing you do want is competition, right? Nothing in our country would be as great as it was if there weren't other forces driving us to compete. Like, if you look at the car industry in general, they just keep getting better and better and safer, and that's competition. That needs to be there. And if you create too much of a homegrown bias, then you lose that. You want competition in all forms so that you get the best products. That's good for us. That's good for us as an economy. So,
all right. Okay, let's move on. So, Adam, I think we have you for about another 10 minutes. Let's talk about losing money.
Sure.
What was your worst trading day ever?
So, this is a great story. So it was a summer, things were really slow. And I met this doctor who said him and his friends had seen the stock and that it was going to be the next Microsoft of biotechnology.
All right, let me interrupt for a second, but I think it's kind of legendary that doctors can be some of the best contrary indicators. So that's like the perfect setup. So I'm already excited.
Yeah. So it was the stock Vasogen, which I got involved with. Like, I started with 10,000 shares, and then the market was just so slow, and I was like, you know what? If this hits, this will be it, man. I'm just going to make millions of dollars. So it started going up, which was the worst thing that could happen. Like I would have been better off if it just went down, but it started trading higher. And I ended up buying 180,000 shares of Vasogen. So much to the point where every penny it moved was $1,800 because it was like a $2 something stock. And it's hard to concentrate on your P&L. Like you're not looking to make $500 in a trade when if this takes a penny, it's $1,800. I'll never forget, like, I got the alert one morning that they're going to announce results of their phase 3 FDA trial. And I had never done this before. I got on the conference call. I wanted to hear right away. I'm at my computer. And they announced that they failed. They had critical failure in phase 3. And the stock, which had been above $2, went zero bid. Zero bid. A bid eventually came in. I think I got out at 30 cents. I lost between 1 and 200,000 in that day. That was miserable. I remember I had an intern who had been with me all summer, and because I was only in that one position, I wasn't doing anything. So we went to the movies, we went to play golf. I was having a great summer. And when this happened, he didn't know what to do. I remember we had free bagels in the office, and he came over and just tried to hand me a free bagel. But anyhow, years later, I was at a financial publishing conference, and we as publishers, they had all these up-and-coming companies that wanted to meet about us to see if we were interested in writing about them. And this guy sat down in front of me and was talking about a company, and I heard his voice, and I was like, I've heard that Canadian voice before. And he's like, something, and I stopped him. I'm like, did you own another company before this? Were you? And he's like, oh, yes, I did. I'm like, what was it? He's like, Vasogen? And I'm like, wow. I was like, I own that. And he was like, oh, how'd you do? I was like, how could I have done? It went to zero. There is no company. How could I have done? And he picked up his stuff. He was like, okay, it was nice talking to you, and left. And I was so grateful that I got to just say that. I didn't say like I hate you or anything, but I was like, I got to like look him in the eyes and be like, it went to zero. But that was my worst trading day ever.
So what did the doctors have to say after all this?
Nothing, man. Nothing.
Yeah, I remember having a funny moment in like 2021. I was at the dentist, and my dentist was talking about how like him and all his friends, they all owned like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of Tesla. Like they all just went like all in on trading because like their practices were so slow because they were bored. But at least you got a free bagel, so it's not a total loss. So okay, so now the thing is, obviously it's an expensive lesson to learn.
Right.
But do you think it actually helped you avoid a lot of bad situations in the future? Like maybe you avoid $1 million worth of losses because you took that one big one up front.
Well, I'll tell you one other story too, and they're both related, not to each other, but just in general. There was a time, and this is when we were all trading together. Sean was there, and Nadav was there. This was early on in my career. Like all the T3 guys were there. And I had been trying to short the market. It was like right before the internet bubble burst. And I've been shorting. I was right. I was at the top, but every day I was losing a couple $1,000s. Every day, a couple $1,000s. And one day I was like down $10,000, whatever. I don't know. And at like 350, someone's like, dude, I heard a rumor Knight Securities is going to get bought. And I was like, really? And like, I was like a young kid, and I was like, okay. And so I got out of all my shorts, and I bought 30,000 shares of Knight Securities, like $33. And at 4:05 or 4:10 p.m., Intel pre-announced for the first time ever that they were going to miss earnings. It was like the beginning of the internet bubble. And the market collapsed. And forget that I lost $100,000 in night, which went down 3 points and did not get taken over. Years later, it did. I would have made $1 million on everything I was short. I was short everything. It was going to be the best day ever, and I flipped with 10 minutes to go in the day. That one almost had me losing my mind.
So are there ever moments?
The point is, my two biggest, worst losing days ever came because I let other people's ideas get in my head.
Okay, so do you just so who do you?
I'm proud to say. Sorry, I am proud to say I haven't had losses like that in, I don't know, 18 years. So at least I learned those lessons when I was young, and I don't make those mistakes anymore. I don't go that big, and I don't listen to people.
Okay, so do you sort of just, when people give you ideas, since you speak to a lot of people, you have a big audience, does everything sort of go through that filter, through that Vasogen night filter when you hear things?
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Okay, so then, all right, I'm going to ask you the obvious question. Then why should people listen to you? If you don't want to listen to anybody else, why do we listen to Adam Mesh?
I'm authentic. I care. I asked the same question when I started doing this. I went around and listened to what everyone else said. I've been trading for a long time. I probably made more trades than anyone on here knows. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I speak from the heart, and I have a good track record of building a great community, successful people, and all kind of like with witnesses along the way. It's like all been documented. So the story's real, the experience is real. But that's everyone's instincts. Like, I never want someone to be like, "Oh, I listened to you and I lost money." Like, at the end of the day, as a trader, each decision is your own. You want to make informed decisions. I just want to kind of give people my look and how I do things, and then have them develop their own personality because of it.
Okay, I'll ask you one.
I agree, Mark. It does help to learn early before you have too much at stake.
Okay, so Adam, we're going to close out in a second. I'm going to ask you one more question. Does everybody have to learn the hard way? Because people can hear your story and it can be kind of in one ear out the other. But do you think everybody kind of just has to learn this on their own by going through it?
I hope not. I don't want everyone to learn the hard way. I hope you learn the hard way small, not big. I don't hope you learn the hard way at all, but if you do it, trade small at the beginning. Make your mistakes with small amounts. Win big, trade small.
Okay, so I think the lesson we can take away is, if somebody shares with you this hotter than hot idea that's going to change your life, take a deep breath.
Right. You can buy 100 shares, 1,000 depending on who you are, but not.
Yeah, small.
There is no lottery. There is no lottery in trading. It's the grind. It's putting in the work. It's pulling out wins, being consistent over time. It's not a one and done home run.
Yeah,
you can afford to strike out as many times as you need to in order to hit a home run.
And we have to remember that
But today is going to be fun. We have 24 minutes. And I say, like, even if you're not comfortable trading, you should watch the action of the market. You should watch the price action just to get a feel for how much faster things are going to move. Like, you're going to have at least an hour. Maybe it will settle down, but of just nonstop speed, which is exciting. Be careful, trade small.
All right. Okay. All right, Adam. So I can tell Adam is itching to get. Adam has 23 minutes to get ready to make some real money. Okay, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next week. Hopefully, we'll be back next week. Adam, good luck there. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody.